Hi, this is Martin Drummond with Progressive News. It's Friday, April 5th, 2019. I get a lot of people who misunderstand why I keep establishment Democrats, the Hill trolls, or even some Republicans, although I don't think I have any more in my friends list. And it's really simple because I keep the ones that are really vocal. Really post like just shitloads. You all get notifications, right? And like Renee Roto, she's just a liar. She just constantly bombards her timeline, or here, when you go into here in your news feed, she either bombards her timeline or her news feed. It really doesn't matter which one it is. And so like she will bombard us with all this shit, and I keep them in my friends list because I want to bombard them back, because people are listening to them, not on this post, obviously. It's just me and her, and I hope that people aren't paying any attention to her. But see, like, here's somebody, but she's not on her side. It must get awfully lonely if you're Renee Roto. But and she's so full of shit, right? She posts, I don't know if, I'm not going to go looking for them, but she posts a lot of stuff, anti-Bernie, mostly anti-Bernie. She absolutely hates progressives. She blames us for everything. She blames us for Trump. And we all know what the truth is that, we made Trump happen. We caused him to be elected. I'm not going to deny that. But it was establishment Democrats' fault. They could have all voted for Bernie Sanders in the primary, and we could have gotten Hillary out of the way. And then now we would know, wouldn't we, if Bernie would have won. And he would have. He was destroying Trump in the polls right up to the end of the primary when they stopped polling. So I've had people call me a Republican and call me a traitor and all kinds of stuff. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. I keep these people around so that I can fight with them, so that people will see the truth. I don't want her getting away with convincing all of her friends that she's right. So I'll come in. Oh, and the other thing that I do is, since the most prolific posters to my newsfeed are a bunch of dimwit establishment Democrats, I will just constantly post my my show to them to get their friends to go, and they do. Their friends go and join my group so that they can watch my show and watch the playlists that I produce every day. It's nothing but a win-win situation. And I'm sorry if some of you get this Progressive News or something to that effect on your posts to my news feed, because whether you know it or not, every time you post to to here to the news feed, or to your timeline. It comes here to me. Actually, it comes here in my timeline, in my newsfeed, not my timeline. It doesn't go to our timelines. But then when we post comments, it goes to their timeline as comments on the posts that they posted to their newsfeed or to their timeline. Okay. I think you probably still don't understand that, but that's how it works. And so I'm sorry if you get a lot of my things promoting my group, but I don't have time when I'm going through this to check and remember everybody's name. Like, I know I've seen Leo Lovelace a lot of times, but guess what? It's not going to kill him if I post this. And if he would just join my group and watch my show, he's in my friends list. I mean, come on, Leo, aren't you my friend? You know, you asked me to friend you, but you won't take any interest. You want me to take an interest in you, because you post all this stuff to my newsfeed, which means you want me to see it. But you won't go join my group and watch my show? I mean, come on, man. It's just kind of hypocritical, don't you think? And I know he's not a member because I can go to here and I can put in members and I can type in let's just grab his name real quick so I don't misspell. Oh, I can spell that. So Leo Loveless, and you see there's no Leo Loveless. So he's not a member of my group, and so he's not watching my show. Somebody wants to join, though. Yeah, there's lots of people wanting to join, and every day I get 10 or 20 people wanting to join. And you know, just to be clear, I don't make any money off of this. I'm doing this really for Bernie Sanders, but more so for the progressive movement. That's why it's called the Progressive News. And of course, if you were to go to, I mean, my segments are my segments, and they're not necessarily, every progressive isn't going to agree with everything I'm going to say. I mean, I came on this morning trying to give Saudi Arabia the benefit of the doubt. You know, and go watch the segment and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that we should support their war in Yemen anymore, or that we ever did, but I'm pointing out some of the interesting things that I've thought of on it. So, you know, that's my segments. This is on why capitalism supply doesn't equal demand. This is my daily playlist, and you click on it, it'll take you to, you know, what I find interesting, and I'm a progressive, so I think you'll find it interesting too. There's nothing wrong with coming here. You don't have to watch my segments. You don't have to click on the announcements here and watch my segments if you don't want to. If you get that turned off by everything I have to say, then I don't want you to torture yourself. Although it might be good for you, because I am definitely reality based, even if it doesn't agree with everybody all the time. And this is just, you know, like I showed you, except for I didn't show you it's a whole playlist, so you can go through it because it's, I think, 50 or 60 shows a day usually. There's some slow days. There's 57 videos, so you can go through it till you hit something. Maybe you want to know the truth behind Maduro's critic, Joanna Hausman.
Here in Poland, something remarkable took place recently.
And yeah, you're going to have to put up with the ads.
The Venezuelan opposition, Maduro. Huh? Meanwhile, a woman who's become
situation in the country, and it also helps if they can speak perfectly fluent English. So, meet Joanna Hausman, speaking in an editorial for the New York Times about Venezuela.
This movement on the American left against any U.S. involvement in Venezuela is gaining traction, dangerously glorifying a brutal dictator and promoting inaction. Juan Guaidó is a social democrat appointed by the National Assembly, the only remaining democratically elected institution left in Venezuela.
She's Venezuelan American and she's a comedian. She loves to call out critics of U.S. foreign policy because how dare they think they might know more than her when she's an actual Venezuelan. And furthermore, she gives full support to Juan Guaidó, the self-appointed U.S.-backed president of Venezuela. But here's a detail the New York Times failed to mention. Her father is Ricardo Hausman, the economics professor from Harvard University. And Ricardo Hausman, her father, is currently the envoy of Juan Guaidó to the Inter-American Development Bank, the biggest lender in Latin America. It looks a lot like Miss Hausman has a pretty big dog in the fight. However, the New York Times presents her as just a liberal-minded Venezuelan who wants what's best for her people.
And I'm not going to get into Venezuela today. I'm just pointing out that there's all kinds of good information in here. You don't have to look at the first one and decide you don't like it. You can go through and pick what you want. Now, I am going to say something because, God, that on Venezuela, what she said was such total bullshit. And I'll just point out one thing that'll make it clear to you how much bullshit that is. The National Assembly, which she pointed to as being like that assembly, was found guilty at least in 3 elections of its members, at least. And that's just where they said, fuck it, we're going to stop investigating, because it was all bullshit. They weren't elected. It was all ballot box stuffing or whatever, and it was all bullshit. And so, the court said, well, you need to get rid of these first 3 because their elections are just total nonsense. And the assembly refused to get rid of them. And so the Supreme Court of Venezuela just simply said, well, then your whole assembly is out of order, and we won't, if you won't get rid of these 3 and whatever other ones we come up with, because these are courts, the proof is there, the testimony, all the evidence and everything. There's no doubt about these guys' guilt, and we know what a bunch of corrupt motherfuckers the right wing in Venezuela is anyway. So on top of the proof, we've got the proof, right? Years and years of proof, and how they treated the country, twice as many people in poverty, everything. We know everything about these guys. They're all about themselves, making themselves rich. So they declared the assembly null and void. So the assembly, and even if you go look on Facebook, the assembly is non grata or whatever it's called. It doesn't. It has no. It's illegal. It's outlawed. Just like the supposed president that they put in. It's all bullshit. So I just point that out real quick. So, you want to watch my show, you don't want to watch my show, that's fine. You don't not interested in going through the playlist, well, you know, you can just unfriend me if you don't like seeing my stuff show up in here on your stuff like this. That's fine by me. I've got too many friends as it is. I mean, that's, and the truth is that I pick up. As a matter of fact, I've stopped. I've stopped even confirming anybody. Because, I mean, I've got hundreds of people asking to be my friends. So, you know, you want to unfriend me, that's no big fucking deal. I don't give a shit. A lot of you are my enemies anyway, and probably if you unfriend me, you're probably just an establishment Democrat, because I really don't think I have any Republicans left in there.
Going out of business, huh?
That's a good video, by the way. It's about a guy who was run out of business by Walmart, who had a hardware store for 75 years across the street from where I lived when I lived in eastern Kentucky. Yeah, hillbilly land. I learned a lot living out there, and that's another part of my resume that people should be aware of. I've got a diverse point of view. Okay, so this is Martin Drummond with Progressive News. Thanks for watching.